joining us today. Today, we are talking with Laura, who would rename her address to include Blissful Boulevard and wishes she could speak Arabic and Greek. Her lifelong idol was her grandfather, and her secret talent is grading diamonds. She once ate a fried bug and wishes she could meet Richard Gere. Her best travel advice is become an opportunistic traveler and travel off the beaten path. She has a collection of over 100 travel magnets, and today she is taking us to one of her favorite places, Egypt. So thank you so much for joining us, Laura.
Welcome, Laura.
Ahlan wa Sara.
I'm going to start our famous.
The best my Arabic gets.
Start our famous 7-minute timer, and so we'll just get started here, Laura. So just tell us a little bit about like what drew you to Egypt. You were saying that a little moment ago, but you know, how did that become one of your favorite places?
Well, I think when I was little and the National Geographic specials started on the television, you know, they would always have Egypt and the pyramids and the Sphinx and the digs and the mummies, and I was just always super fascinated. And I'm a degreed engineer, and science is a big thing of mine. And so I had always wanted to. And actually, when I started college, I thought, oh, I'm going to become an Egyptologist. And Egyptology 101, the teacher said, look around the room, none of you will have jobs that pay any money. So I was like, okay, I'll be an engineer and I'll just enjoy Egyptology. And then, you know, Egypt had some trouble a while back with terrorism and a bad government. And then President Sisi took over, the coup happened, Egypt is so safe. Egypt, I don't know if anybody knows, is rated the number 8th safest country in the world, where the United States is like 26. So it's a very, very safe place to travel. So I would like to break the myth of that. But you know, the whole thing for me is, it's just mysterious. It's the beginning of civilization. It's the beginning of engineering. It's just such a magical place. And I've always been drawn to it. But now that I know more of Egypt, because I've been several times, Egypt has something for everyone, whether you want history, whether you want relaxation, whether you want religion, whether you want science. It has, like, whether you want to play golf, I mean, whatever you want, you actually can do it in Egypt. And, you know, I just recommend that it should be on everybody's bucket list. And it's still so very affordable and so technology driven, you know, like they just got the Guinness World Book of Records for the suspension bridge that I got to go over. They actually stopped 6 lanes of traffic for our group so we could walk across it. We were all engineers and we were all interested. So the police just stopped the traffic for us, which is very interesting to happen in Cairo, by the way. But everything is, you know, it's everything that you want, you know. So hopefully that answered your question, because I can just keep going on.
Did. Well, I know you mentioned how many times you mentioned you've been there, and then share a little bit of when you go with others that have never been, what do you think surprises them most about their first time visit to Egypt? Well,
first of all, Egypt is the most welcoming country I've ever been to, and I've been all over the world. The people are amazing. The people who are afraid of the Middle East to go travel to the Middle East, literally they warm up to it within, you know, 5 hours. They're just so amazed at how accommodating and friendly people are. I guess that's the main thing. The other thing is, everybody thinks Egypt is the pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Antiquities Museum. And I have told everybody, you will go, you will see those things, absolutely, but that will be the least interesting part of your trip to Egypt. Egypt is magical, and that is wonderful to see. And it's wonderful to go into the Great Pyramid and say that you've done it. But it's certainly not the most beautiful thing in Egypt by far.
Wow. And so what would we're on the topic of first timers, what would you suggest that a first timer not miss? Obviously, these are the things that they think of, but what are your suggestions?
Okay, so obviously, when you land in Cairo, you have to do, the new museum is opening, the largest museum in the world. So if you're going later, the gem is something that you'll have to see. It's going to be a spectacle. Obviously the pyramids, obviously the Sphinx. My favorite part of Cairo is Saqqara. That is where all of the discoveries are taking place. That is the magical part. They found the high priest. They found, so many new tombs. The Seraphim is there. I talked a little bit about that before you came, but the Seraphim is a magical place. It's these humongous sarcophagi that we can't build in today's world. We cannot do it. So there's so much mystery and intrigue around Saqqara. And everywhere you go, there's new things to see and discover. And literally, we're walking through the sand and there's pottery shards everywhere that are like 4,000 years old. It's like, it's just a crazy, crazy place. They're also, the Inhotep Museum is in Saqqara. For those who love engineering, the first cubics, which is Inhotep's first measuring tool, which, an engineer cries when they see, is fascinating. The oldest mummy in the world is in the Inhotep Museum. So those are things I wouldn't miss. But then you go and you want to do a Nile cruise, or you want to see Aswan. You want to make sure you go to Abu Simbel. That is a not miss place. It's always extra on tours, but you want to spend the money and you want to do it, because that's where it's carved into the mountain. That's Ramses and Nefertari's temple. And it's a sight to behold. I can't even describe it. I cry. I've seen it 3 times. I cry every time I see it. It's awe-inspiring. You want to go to Philae Temple. You want to understand that you're crossing a Nile that's dammed now, but it wasn't dammed when they built it. And so this beautiful, huge temple is on an island in the middle of the Nile. And then what happened is the Christians took over that temple so that they were not crucified, to be able to worship. So you'd be able to see the signs. So you want to make sure your tour guide is an Egyptologist and well-versed, so that he can show you the things that most people miss. It's just so exciting, And then you want to go to a Nubian village, which are the darker skinned Egyptians. They worship the crocodile. They let you into their homes. The places, they're just so friendly and so different. So it's just a different part of their culture that I suggest everybody do. The food, you want to try all the ethnic foods. You definitely want to try the desserts. My personal favorite, the fish and the lamb. Is that it? Is all over? Oh my God. I didn't even get to Luxor. You have to go to Luxor.
You got to so much,
kings and queens.
You got to so many amazing things, and you just started the topic Cindy and I always ask about, which is the food, because I would have no idea what to even, I don't know what kinds of foods Egyptians eat. I honestly,
oh my gosh, you have to. I mean, I can give you a list of foods. I can send you a list, but you definitely want to try the desserts. The fish tagines are the best I've ever had. The lamb is amazing. I wasn't really fond of the beef there. They don't serve pork anywhere. But the fish is always fresh and the lamb is delicious. They have plenty of the vegetarian things. So you can, and they put out a spread of appetizers that you could eat for dinner. They have the round breads. They have that you have to try.
Some of this into our description, right, April?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've whet everybody's appetite just enough to make them want to come find more out about you, Laura. So we'll make sure we put that in our show descriptions and share more, because as you can see, Laura can talk for hours.
I heard it sounds fabulous.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I mentioned Luxor in there, because Luxor is the Valley of the Kings,
No, you make us all want to buy that ticket to Egypt now, and that's what you've shared, that your enthusiasm, your love, and the fact that you feel very safe going, and that welcomingness that these people inspire in you to go back. And you were pointing out the artwork behind you too earlier to me.
Yeah, the artwork is so beautiful. The dress that I'm wearing, my Egyptian galabia, I'm wearing that today. So, I'm very, very fond of the culture and the people. But I will tell you, be very, very careful. I know this isn't on air, but I'm just going to, because you're going, you will make or break your trip by the guides you have. Okay.
Okay.
That is the most important thing. The guide that I use is a PhD Egyptologist. He is very well known. Actually, he was rated one of the top 10 tour guides in the world.
Oh, wow.
So he is spectacular, and I would trust him with my life. He has a brother who also works with him. He does his name is Walid Kamuna. But what he does is he does the higher end trips, the all-inclusive packages that I offer, but they go all the way down to the lowest price, to the hostels, and they keep you safe. You want to make sure your tour guide travels with you the entire trip, because cheaper packages, they'll have a tour guide in, Cairo, and then they'll send you to a different one in Luxor and a different one in Aswan. And it's just not as good. So if you have, like, I know you're going and I know you have a guide, but if you want a list of things to do, a list of things to not miss, I'm happy to just,
yeah. We'll definitely get all of that.
Please, like, how long are you going to be there?
We're going to go for 14 days.
Okay. Are you going to Alexandria and Siwa Oasis?
Yes, we're going to Alexandria, and I'll have to look at the list, but yeah, I can email you that, and you can help me out.
Yeah, it's because there's just so much amazing things and things off the beaten path. So if you have a PhD, he can open up doors to tombs you can't normally get into because he's a PhD.
Wow.
So that's why I say a make or break trip is all about who is guiding you. So
yeah. And we know that it's all about who you travel with. It makes a huge difference, right?
It does. It really does. And I have such a passion that I do it. I came home and I'm this, and then and then people that I know are like, will you do a tour to Egypt with me? And so that's how this whole thing started. And so we're on round 4,
Right. And that's how it does start, is people pick up on that enthusiasm and that love that you have. And then you personally want to share those places and experiences that brought you so much joy. And that makes the best kind of trip, of course.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we have to let you go, Laura. Thank you so much for taking some time to share your
Shukran, and have a great day.